Luxury was never meant for everyone. That sentence alone already sounds uncomfortable because modern marketing has worked very hard to convince people otherwise. Scroll through social media, walk past a billboard, or open a fashion website, and you'll see the same message repeated in different forms. Luxury is accessible, luxury is achievable, luxury is just one purchase away. But what if that promise is the manipulation itself? What if luxury brands were never designed to serve the rich anymore, but instead to extract money from those who are trying to feel rich? This is not a story about handbags or watches. It's a story about psychology, identity, and how desire is engineered. Because when you look closely, you start to realize something unsettling. Luxury brands don't just sell products, they sell belonging, they sell validation. And for poor and middle-class buyers, that can become a very expensive trap. The original purpose of luxury. Historically, luxury had a very different role. Luxury items were not aspirational objects marketed to the masses. They were functional signals inside a closed social circle. A tailor-made suit, a handcrafted watch, or a custom-built carriage was not meant to impress strangers. It was meant to signal rank to people who already understood the code. There was no need for logos because recognition came from knowledge, not visibility. Luxury was quiet, scarce, and deeply tied to craftsmanship and access. Only a small group could afford it, and even fewer could interpret it correctly. That exclusivity was not created through advertising. It was enforced naturally by price, proximity, and culture. What mattered was not that others saw it, but that the right people recognized it. This is crucial to understand because modern luxury operates almost in reverse. Today, luxury brands need volume, growth, and global recognition. That shift required a new audience, and the wealthiest individuals alone were not enough to sustain it. The shift from elite to aspirational, as luxury brands expanded globally, they encountered a problem. The truly rich did not buy often enough. They didn't chase trends, didn't replace items every season, and didn't respond well to mass advertising. So brands made a strategic decision. Instead of selling primarily to the wealthy, they began selling the idea of wealth to everyone else. This is where aspiration became the core business model. Products were no longer positioned as tools of the elite, but as symbols of arrival for those still climbing. Entry-level items were introduced, prices were carefully calibrated to be painful but reachable, and logos became larger and louder. The goal was no longer discretion. The goal was visibility. A visible logo allowed buyers to broadcast a message: I belong here, or at least I'm trying to. For middle-class consumers, this created a dangerous loop. Luxury became less about quality and more about identity. Owning the product felt like owning a piece of a life they had not yet achieved. Status, anxiety, and manufactured desire. At the heart of luxury manipulation lies status anxiety. Humans are deeply social creatures, constantly measuring themselves against others. Luxury brands understand this better than most institutions. Their marketing rarely talks about materials or durability. Instead, it focuses on lifestyle, beauty, confidence, and admiration. Ads are carefully designed to trigger comparison. The viewer is not meant to admire the product alone, but the person who owns it. Over time, this creates an emotional association. Without the product, you are incomplete. With it, you are elevated. For poor and middle-class buyers, this pressure is especially strong because social mobility feels uncertain. When real progress is slow, symbolic progress becomes tempting. A bag, a watch, or a pair of shoes can offer immediate relief from feeling left behind. Luxury brands don't invent this insecurity, but they monetize it with remarkable precision. The power of logos and visibility. Logos are one of the most effective tools in luxury manipulation. From a production standpoint, a logo adds almost no value. From a psychological standpoint, it changes everything. A visible logo transforms a private object into a public signal. It allows others to identify the brand instantly, which is essential for status signaling. For wealthy individuals, this is often unnecessary or even undesirable. For aspirational buyers, it is the entire point. Brands know this, which is why entry-level products tend to feature the largest and most recognizable logos. These items are not designed for discretion, they are designed for display. The irony is that the more visible the logo, the less exclusive the item becomes. Yet the buyer still pays a premium, not for rarity or craftsmanship, but for recognition. In this way, luxury brands extract maximum emotional value from buyers who can least afford to waste money on symbols, to artificial scarcity and emotional pressure. Another powerful manipulation tool is artificial scarcity. Limited drops, waiting lists, exclusive releases, and vague language about availability create urgency. Buyers are pushed into emotional decisions, fearing that hesitation will result in missing out. This tactic works especially well on people who feel they rarely get access to special things. The product becomes a test of worth. If you get it, you feel chosen. If you don't, you feel excluded. Importantly, this scarcity is often manufactured. Brands control supply deliberately, not because production is limited, but because desire grows when access feels restricted. For middle-class buyers, this can override rational financial thinking. The purchase becomes a story they tell themselves and others. It's not just an object. It's proof that they were fast enough, lucky enough, or important enough to get in. Credit, debt, and silent damage. One of the least discussed aspects of luxury manipulation is how deeply it relies on debt. Luxury brands rarely talk about payment plans, but they quietly benefit from them. Installments, credit cards, and buy now, pay later services make expensive items feel manageable. The psychological pain of spending is reduced, while the emotional reward remains immediate. For poor and middle-class buyers, this creates a long-term imbalance. Money that could have been invested, saved, or used to improve real quality of life is redirected into depreciating symbols. Over time, this can lock people into cycles of financial stress while reinforcing the belief that more luxury will eventually fix the discomfort. It doesn't. And the relief is temporary, and the pressure returns stronger, pushing the buyer toward the next purchase. Why the truly rich rarely play this game. While luxury brands target aspirational buyers aggressively, many truly wealthy individuals move in the opposite direction. They value privacy, comfort, and efficiency more than recognition. Their status is secured through networks, assets, and influence, not through logos. When they buy luxury, it is often bespoke, understated, and invisible to outsiders. Ironically, the more money someone has, the less they need to prove it. This creates a silent divide. The most visible luxury consumption often comes from those with the least financial margin for error. Meanwhile, the wealthy quietly opt out of the spectacle. This contrast reveals the core manipulation at play. Luxury branding thrives not on wealth, but on insecurity about wealth. Breaking the spell of luxury, marketing. Understanding how luxury brands manipulate desire does not mean rejecting beauty, craftsmanship, or quality. It means separating genuine value from emotional exploitation. When buyers learn to ask different questions, such as who this product is really for and what problem it claims to solve, the illusion weakens. True confidence does not require constant external validation. Real status is rarely loud, and financial freedom is built through discipline, not display. Luxury brands will continue to sell aspiration because it is profitable. But awareness gives buyers power. When you see the machinery behind the image, you can choose differently. You can decide whether a purchase serves your life or simply feeds a story someone else is selling. See luxury for what it is. Luxury is not evil, but it is not innocent either. It is a system designed to shape desire, identity, and behavior. Once you understand how that system works, you stop chasing symbols and start making decisions from a place of clarity. If this perspective challenged how you see luxury, stay with this channel. We explore the hidden mechanics of wealth, power, and influence, without hype and without illusion. Subscribe if you want to understand the world the way the powerful do, not the way it's advertised to everyone else.